Chapter 14 is entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. And we've heard something about the modes of material nature through the other chapters. It's here, though, that Krishna really describes the influence of these divisions of the material energy. And it's helpful to think about the three modes of material nature in terms of the colors that we see in our everyday life. Because all the colors that we see in our everyday life, no matter how variegated, different browns, different blues, different reds, different whites, different greens, different yellows, oranges, purples, so many different shades of colors. If you've ever gone to Home Depot and had to pick out some paint for yourself, you know how frustrating it can be, how overwhelming, and how you never thought there could be so many different shades of gray. Well, all of those colors actually find their origin in just three colors. You might remember from kindergarten, those three colors are blue, red, and yellow. And the pure colors of blue, red, and yellow, when combined in different ways, make up all the different colors that we see in our experience. And so in the same way, all of the different expressions of the material energy that we see in our experience, whether it's the beach or the mountains in the Himalayas or the skyscrapers in New York City or the food on our plate, all of the different expressions of the material energy are a combination of these three modes of nature. And so Arjuna is being helped by Krishna to recognize the influence of each of the three modes so that he can better understand how to situate himself in the mode of goodness. The three modes are ignorance, passion, and goodness, and it's from the mode of goodness that Krishna says one can see things as they are. Whereas from the mode of ignorance, one doesn't understand any value of anything. And from the mode of passion, you feel like you either are not getting enough or you need more. So from the mode of ignorance, Krishna explains that a person affected in that way doesn't understand what to do, when to do it, or even why to do it, what to speak of how to do it. They just do whatever they feel like, whenever they feel like. Basically, a person in the mode of ignorance behaves like an animal. If they're angry, they lash out. If they're hungry, they stuff their face. If they're tired, they just fall asleep right where they are. They just pursue the most immediate and basic emotions that come up inside of them, however and whenever they come up. We can imagine if the whole world operated on the mode of ignorance, nothing would ever get done. Everything would be a mess because nobody would have this kind of self-restraint that allows us to push through difficulties and do what we need to do despite not feeling like it. So then the mode of passion is kind of the opposite effect, where a person feels an intense desire to gain more of something. They feel like they're not enough and that they have to achieve, they have to overcome in order to be satisfied. And so they're driven constantly by this desire for more. And yet that desire for more is fundamentally showing that they haven't understood who they really are yet. They haven't recognized they're a soul. And so they think more money, they think a nicer car, they think a bigger house, that's what's going to make me happy. Not understanding that I already am everything that I need. I already am an eternal spirit soul, and I need only to live and act from that place, and I'll be completely satisfied. So the person in the mode of passion is suffering more than the person who's affected by the mode of ignorance. Because the person in the mode of ignorance, he doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't recognize that he's suffering. Whereas the person in the mode of passion is intensely aware that he's suffering, but he doesn't understand the right way to relieve himself of that suffering. So that brings us to the mode of goodness. And again, Krishna says these are folks who can see things as they are. And what we can recognize from the mode of goodness is the distinction between the body and the soul. The person in the mode of goodness can recognize that this body is a vehicle and that my soul is inside that vehicle and moving towards my relationship with Krishna. And so just like we put gas in the car and we change the oil and we make sure that we have good tires so that we can get to where we need to go safely, also the body needs certain things to be maintained. We should eat well, we should sleep well, we should relate to others in a healthy way. And a person in the mode of goodness recognizes all these things, but they don't over-invest in them. They don't think that those experiences are the all-in-all, that maintaining a clean car is the goal of life. Actually, the goal of life is to use the body, or to use the car, the vehicle, to get to that destination of the supreme abode, the eternal realm, where we have a loving relationship with Krishna always. And so from the mode of goodness, it's easy to recognize that dynamic. Whereas in the modes of passion and ignorance, we're still too affected by the concept that I am my body to be able to pursue spiritual life with a genuine understanding. So Krishna asks Arjuna to rise to this platform of the mode of goodness, and from there be able to approach him with a mood of surrender and sincerity. And this is what we're all left to do also in this chapter, is to analyze our own situation. How much of the mode of ignorance is affecting me? How much of the mode of passion is affecting me and distracting me from my relationship with Krishna? And what habits can I take on? What practices can I develop in my everyday life to help me come to the platform of the mode of goodness and approach Krishna in an effective way?